Ashe, Kendra, thank you so much for booking this Mercury Retrograde forecast reading with me. I'm so excited to be diving in and giving you some insight on how this Mercury Retrograde may affect you, what lessons may come through, and if there are any blockages in your path that you can undo in this time frame. Okay, so I'm going in with two different decks. I have my Red Bone, the Melanin Code Oracle deck, and I also have my Golden Girls Tarot as well. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Not going to waste any time. All right. So let's go ahead and do a general reading. Just see where you're at right now, what messages you may need to hear from Spirit. All right. Pain. This too shall pass. So whatever you're going through right now, know that it's not going to last forever. Know that you're not going to have to sit in that energy forever as well. I guess it's just very important that you feel, and I guess just no longer holding back. I'm not sure if there's fear of feeling too much, or if you just would rather not feel at all. But I think that, feeling and processing things is a lot easier in the long run. So take your time. Also, holding yourself accountable for any mistakes that you may have made, or any wrongs that you've made, because I feel like right now is a really good time to repent. And this doesn't have to be like you did anything crazy. You could have, beat yourself up today. You could have self-sabotaged, said you were going to do something but didn't, or whatever the case may be. So it could vary. I think you just need to chill out on yourself a little bit, cut yourself some slack, especially if you are upset about, yourself or something that you feel you're trying to work on. Maybe you're not getting the results that you're looking for. So honestly, just take your time and be patient with yourself. I feel like better results will come that way. So your next card is This is a Blessing in Disguise. So going back to how you feel, whatever it is that, that's bothering you right now, I feel like, it's all part of the plan. Where you're at, what you're feeling, your current situation, it's all a part of the plan. So don't get discouraged. You can get discouraged, but I think that Spirit feels that it's very, very vital that you don't get lost in shaming yourself or putting yourself down. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that, this is all part of your plan and this is what God has intended. So allow God to work his magic and you go forth and conquer, friend. Okay. So let's see what else you have. Don't suppress your emotions. I basically just said that. Ego, deception, and envy, and then inner child healing. So in what ways could you connect with your inner child and let them know that you love them and that you celebrate them and that you care for them and that you want the best for them? How can you translate that over to them? How can you let them know that you are working towards doing things to make them happy? How are you showing up for your inner child? Are you nurturing yourself? Are you taking care of yourself in the ways that you need to take care of yourself? Because I feel like Spirit really wants to help you, but I feel like if you're, not going to cater to yourself, if you're not going to pour into yourself, then it's going to make it a lot hard for you to dive into the things that, you're passionate about. So obviously take your time. But I do think Spirit feels that, you gotta do for you more, do things for you more. Sometimes we get lost in helping others and we forget to help ourselves. So let's start with the blockages that could come through during this Mercury retrograde. I'm going to take the tarot cards now because I completely forgot that they were sitting here. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's go ahead and dive in and see what blockages are in your way right now. All right. First blockage is, I wouldn't say lack of perception. That's what I heard, but I don't think that that's what it is altogether. I think that for you, sometimes it's hard to change your mind about certain things. Sometimes you get committed to something and you don't necessarily want to, you don't necessarily want to just be like, okay, well, this is what I believe now. You don't want to just change your mind all of a sudden for no reason. Like, it has to be, a real reason as to why you're saying, no, I don't want to do this, or, why you're not pouring into certain things or doing certain things in your life. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very, very easy for you to take a step back and, look at the bigger picture, look at things a little bit differently, because, your way of thinking may go against your truth. It may go against what's going to make you happy. It may go against, other things, and I think that Spirit really wants you to, take advantage. It really wants you to take advantage of having a wide perception of things. So I think that, for you, a blockage for you may just be, just having a low perspective, looking at things from, a negative point of view, or looking at things in a way where, it's kind of self-sabotaging in a sense, like expecting the worst or assuming certain things. So I think with this, it's one of those things where it's very draining, and I feel like it may be something that's draining you. So how can you change your perspective on things, and really just going from there? Okay. Next up is justice. And I feel like with the justice card, there needs to be more balance in your life. So there could definitely be a lack of balance that's taking place. And I think Spirit wants you to, look at it that way and have a better balance. And then also looking at, how you need to balance things out in your life. Like, what area of your life is a little more chaotic than others? Is there a part of you that is, not making sacrifices that need to be made for that, things like that. So lastly is the Six of Swords. So I do feel like with the Six of Swords, there's going to have to come a time where you move on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the situation is, not sure what the situation is, but I can see that there's something from your past that you have to move on from, so maybe you're holding on to something, maybe holding on to some resentment or, fear, insecurity, whatever it is. It's something that you're holding on to that you're not really ready to let go of. And I think that that's where those sacrifices come in, needing to sacrifice certain things in life for the sake of your peace, for the sake of your sanity. And I also feel like this just gives you an opportunity to flow and feel more free, because the next cards that you have are the Sun, the Ten of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. And I think that this is going to really resemble, the change that you need in your life, the change that you need in your heart, the change you need, within you, or, within you and outside of you as well. So it's like, what do you feel needs to change right now in your life, and knowing that Spirit's going to provide the energy that's required to make sure that you're able to, attribute to these things. And I think that the really, really important thing here is just making sure that, you're not putting yourself down. You know what I'm saying? Uplift yourself, speak into yourself, speak life into yourself. That's another big important thing, is speaking life into yourself. So, what ways could you remind yourself that you're beautiful? In what ways could you remind yourself that you're worthy, that you're safe, that you're secure, and that, you're a beautiful being inside and out? And I think that for you, it's just been, a journey, and it's been a lot. And I feel like, you gotta have to, take your time, instead of forcing yourself to be somewhere that, you're not ready to be at, or forcing yourself to be somewhere that you have to, work towards getting to. Yeah. I guess that's what I was trying to say. Anyways, moving on. Let's go ahead and dive into the lessons that could come through during this Mercury retrograde. All right. So during this Mercury retrograde, you may be learning patience, especially if you are not the most patient person in the world, or if you find yourself, having certain expectations and those expectations aren't met. You know what I'm saying? Because you may be met with a lot of disappointment and a lot of annoyances with things that you're experiencing in your day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? There may be a lot of things that, irritate your spirit, a lot of things that frustrate your spirit. And I really do think that Spirit, wants you to understand how important being patient is in this lifetime. And you got the Eight of Cups here. So With the Eight of Cups, you may be walking away from toxic environments or toxic situations, toxic attitudes, things like that. You're moving away from something that is not necessarily helping you out in the long run. So I do see you moving away from, certain belief systems or people, ideologies that just do not reflect back that happiness and the joy that you're seeking in your life. And then we got the King of Wands here. So I do feel like with the King of Wands, you're coming into a space where you're more passionate, where you feel more dominant in your life. You feel like you can go forth and conquer without any worries or any judgment in your life. Like, I think that for you, you're finding that passion during this Mercury retrograde. So you may be taking up a class or taking up a new skill or doing something that, overall is going to bring you an abundance of happiness, and just making you feel more alive, and also just giving you the tools and resources that you need to dive deeper into these things that you enjoy. So next we have the Two of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. So I think the two big things for you during this Mercury retrograde are going to be balance, and patience. Those are your two things, balance and patience. And I really do think, Spirit has a real big way of making you feel, I don't know, I guess at home. Like they help you feel at home. So maybe that's another thing that you'll be learning this Mercury retrograde is what home feels like, especially if you haven't really, felt that warmth and comfort that you deserve to feel when it comes to home. So I do think that there may be certain situations where, you may see where home is not, you may understand what is not your home. And I also just feel like a big part of this is really just redefining yourself and redefining what home looks like, redefining what love looks like, redefining what's, what was the word I was about to say? Oh my gosh. But yeah, you're redefining a lot of things. I don't know why I couldn't think of the other word I was about to say, but it started with the S. Maybe security, redefining what security looks like for yourself, redefining so many other things too. So I think that this month really, well, not just this month, but I think that, Mercury retrograde is really going to give you the push that you need to start seeing the world with more color, especially if you've been looking at things, with the negative point of view, or if you just haven't really been able to see the good in yourself or the situations that you're in. So moving forward to the last thing, let's go ahead and see how you need to navigate during this Mercury retrograde. What would Spirit advise you to do at this time to make this Mercury retrograde a little more worthwhile? Ooh, okay, 2 cards. Prosperity, be open to change. Peace, too divine to give a damn. And we also have journal your thoughts. So I kind of had the feeling that Spirit was going to want you to do some journaling. And I don't know if it's just because I, just see that there may be a lot bottled up in your mind. Like you may have a lot that you're thinking about or a lot that's just going on in your head. And it really does seem like, you're at a place right now where you just need to do some releasing. You have a lot of things that you may need to release. And I think that with release comes change. And I think that it's going to be an easy transition for you because you're not just going cold turkey into a new environment. You're understanding your situation. You're understanding the problems that you're being faced with. And you're able to recollect and, reflect and find the root to those things so that you can move forward. And also with journaling your thoughts, I think it's really going to be very, very helpful that you do, release so that you're no longer masking certain things about yourself. And I also see take a deep breath here. So maybe doing more breath work. There's something called Tai Chi that is a, different form of breathing exercises that help, produce different, they help produce different things. So there's Tai Chi for happiness. There's Tai Chi for, transmuting anger, processing sadness, so on and so forth. So, looking into that's something that could really, really help, bring you to a balance as well, especially if you are someone that, doesn't do much conscious breath work. You may just breathe subconsciously because that's what our body's going to do naturally. But at some point, we have to be conscious of our breath so that we can really snap back into reality, because sometimes we drift, and with drifting comes a lot of other things. And I think it's usually better to, avoid all of that at all costs if we can. So I do think that with breath work and with journaling, you may find yourself in a better position during this Mercury retrograde. I'm going to pull 3 more cards to see if there's anything else they would like for you to do. We got don't suppress your emotions, think outside the box, and show gratitude. So yeah, definitely show gratitude. Expressing gratitude is very simple. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for so on and so forth. So expressing gratitude puts you in a perspective where you're seeing the bigger picture in life, period. I could also tell that, you're in a space where you have been bottling up a lot of emotions and a lot of things. And I think that this gives you an opportunity to really find a source or find a root, and give you a foundation so that you could build something stronger than yourself, or, just stronger, period. So I think Spirit wants you to just step out of your comfort zone, and also, release whatever you've been holding in. But yes, that's what I have. I hope that this resonated and gave you some clarity, and I hope you have an amazing, happy holidays, along with the Mercury retrograde season that is approaching us. So I do hope that all of this helped, and I hope I was able to provide you with the insights you are seeking. Feel free to leave a review or a tip if you feel called in helping my business. Thank you so much. Take care, and I'll see you next time, Kendra. Peace.